media. Maybe that's one of the reasons why I am just not a big holiday person. It's because there's too many expectations, too many meetings, and people generally can't let go of putting that responsibility of how good their holidays are on everybody around them.
Hi, my name is Ronnie Cruz. After almost 2 decades as a career network marketer, I realized that despite continual work on my personal and professional development, that I had hit a massive brick wall. So I took a deep and honest look at myself, top to bottom, hoping to find answers, and my search led me to one conclusion. The definitions I held of my business, of my world, of my life were the very things holding me back. If I wanted to change, if I wanted to grow beyond my current circumstances, I had to wipe the slate clean and redefine. This show is dedicated to helping you identify the belief systems, the mindsets, the very definitions that have held you back, and then help you break through those limitations to finally create the life you've been working so hard to achieve. Welcome to the Redefining podcast.
All right, welcome back to the show. Thanks for tuning in. Happy New Year once again. This is the second episode of the new year, but it'll actually be the official New Year episode. We're going to talk about the new year. We're going to talk about kicking it off with a bang. We're going to talk about the holiday season and really what it all means, right? There are always lots of layers of meaning and lots of definitions around this time of year for many people, and you know, those definitions can really run the spectrum. For me, the new year and really the holiday season, it doesn't mean all that much. Like the new year, it's just another day for me. The holiday season, just another season. I don't like to make a big to-do, a big spectacle about it. It's just one of those things. But I do also recognize that the people I know and people around me do like to make a big deal out of it. Do like to, have attached certain meanings and definitions to this time of year. And so I really wanted to talk about that. Again, this show is all about definitions, and really one of the missions is to maybe identify some of the definitions that you hold on to for no other reason than just arbitrarily holding on to, or historically, or you hold on to them because of tradition. But beyond that, it's just there because it's there, right? You're holding on to these things, and some of these things, these definitions and these meanings we hold on to may not be serving us anymore. And the holiday season is full of definition. It's full of meaning for pretty much the majority of the planet. So I want to really examine that. For me, not a big deal. Like I mentioned, it's not something that I make a big deal about this time of year, because it doesn't change much, other than maybe I'll see people I don't normally see throughout the rest of the year, and I get to spend time with them. But beyond that, I don't really change much up. I don't put a lot of meaning behind missing or being present or not being present for certain rituals and for certain quote unquote traditions, right? Like those things I have zero attachment to. And then with the holiday, with the new year kicking in, again, it doesn't really mean anything. It's a symbolic fresh start. I get that, and I think I talked about that last year on the show. But beyond the symbolism of it being a new year, it's just another day. It's just another day. So I really want to kind of pick this apart a little bit in hopes that if there are things that you are unaware of, number one, that you're holding on to as far as meanings in of this time of year. And then number two, if those things that you were unaware that you were holding on to, those meanings, if those things are holding you back or are not serving you, right, so that you can let go. One of the biggest things I see, generally speaking, about the holidays is the nostalgia, right? The nostalgia, which, I think most people hold on to holidays from a tradition standpoint, and tradition is really just all about nostalgia, and especially with the holiday season, especially with Christmas, for those who celebrate Christmas, it's nostalgia for a past, right? For most people, for most of us, it's a nostalgia for experiencing Christmas when we were children. right? And it's kind of romanticizing this time of year, romanticizing the past, which really was just a very, brief window of time every year. And 9 times out of 10, if your family is anything like mine, it wasn't all sunshine and daisies. So we really just kind of holding on to this past, through this nostalgia. We're holding on to this romanticized past that is, number one, an incomplete picture, and number two, such a small fleeting period of time in the first place, right? All right. So it's kind of a weird thing. We're trying to remanufacture a romanticized idea of what we want the holiday to look like, right? What we want what we want this time of year to be. As That's so much. There's so much pressure in making that happen, and then, there's because there's that pressure to really make fulfill this romanticized idea of what the holiday should be. That if it falls anywhere, falls short even just by 1 degree, then it could potentially ruin the entire season for people, right? Right. It's this weird pressure we put on ourselves. It's this weird pressure we put on each other. It's this weird pressure we put on family members, to meet this kind of unspoken criteria of what this holiday season is supposed to serve the individual, right? Serve me, and a lot of it is imposed. Our ideas of what the holidays should be and what it needs to mean to me. We impose on everybody around us, and it just, like, I don't know. Maybe that's one of the reasons why I am just not a big holiday person. It's because there's too many expectations, too many meetings, and people generally can't let go of putting that responsibility, of how good their holidays are on everybody around them, right. So it's clinging on to a romanticized past that really, I don't know if that ever really actually existed, right. All right, and then once you get through the holiday, you have this kind of, this limbo week between Christmas and New Year, and then New Year is all about, thinking about the future, making yourself better, right? Creating resolutions, and it's thinking about, what the things that you're going to change, the things that you're going to improve, and that, to me, a lot of times can come from, it can browbeat people into thinking that they're, it just, that self-judgment really starts to come into play, right? Because you start to compare yourself to an idealized future version that you feel like you need to measure up to, and then you look at yourself in the present moment and you're like, oh crap, I got a long way to go, right? Right, and it can become very demoralizing, which is why resolutions generally don't work, right? Because it's too much of a comparison between this, again, idealized future, excuse me, that doesn't exist, compared to the current version, and like the fact that the distance between the two, it can be, again, very demoralizing. And what ends up happening throughout, coming out of the holiday season and into the new year, what ends up happening is people fall quickly back into, well, first of all, they're drained energetically. People are drained and are tired, and it takes like 2 weeks to just recuperate from the madness of the holiday season. And then what ends up happening is people fall back into, autopilot, and fall back into their 9 to 5 routine, because that's the easy thing to fall back into. Autopilot's easy, right? And it's low pressure, it's low stress. No matter how uncomfortable your current situation is, the autopilot, of the current situation, the routineness of the current situation, it's is easier, right now, to deal with than to have to face the gap between, who you are now and who ideally want to be in the future, and also the past that doesn't exist anymore, right. The holiday is so crazy in that it's, romanticized past, and it's an idealized future, and it's you stuck in the middle of being completely dissatisfied with your current situation, and then just numbing yourself to the fact that, okay, I'm just stuck in this loop, right? There's nothing I can do about it, no matter how hard I tried. Like, I don't have the energy, and I get it, right? People who are in a 40-hour work week, and generally, are dedicating 60, 70, 80 hours to that work week. And it could be hard to do anything else outside of that, and so you rely on things like the holiday season, or the 1 week vacation every year to escape it. And anytime you try to create a different outcome, the gap between your current situation and that future outcome you're trying to create is so vast that, again, it becomes really, really disheartening, and really, really demoralizing. What do we do then, right? What do we do now that we're out of the holiday season? What's the fix? Well, it's really about breaking the cycle, right? Breaking the cycle of how you're thinking about the holidays, and the meanings that you're assigning to the holiday season. Again, for me, I don't put much stock in the holiday. Yes, I show up when I'm able, when I'm healthy, when I'm mentally well, right? Right. When I have the mental fortitude and I have the mental energy to show up, I'll show up. But I understand that I'm not putting any meanings or any pressure to have any specific kind of holiday experience on myself. That really is unfair. Because if I do that for me, then I know that I'm going to go into the holiday putting that pressure on other people in order for me to have a good holiday. Right, I'm putting the pressure, even unconsciously, the interactions that I end up having with people. If I have a certain meaning that I want to have resulting out of the holiday, right? If I want the holiday to have a certain meaning for me, I will have an unconscious interaction with people that will put pressure on them to make sure that happens, right? That my experience of the holiday is what I want it to be, and that's not really fair. That's not really fair. So really, I've just broken the cycle, and I've let go of any meaning around the holiday. I've let go of any meaning around the new year, right? Enjoy the holiday. Enjoy the holiday. If it's something that you love, it's something that you really appreciate, enjoy the holiday. But what I want you to make sure that you do is that it doesn't, especially if you're on a growth journey, that when you go into the holiday, make sure you're not regressing back to, who you were as a kid, and all of this stuff that comes with, right? Yes, it might come with the nostalgia and the romanticized past experience of the holiday and the joy of Christmas, et cetera, but it's also a regression in the relationships in terms of the patterns, the old patterns that we have, right? Like the people that we're related to are generally the ones that we have the deepest roots with, right? And the deepest patterns, the deepestly, no, but the most deeply ingrained patterns are really based around the people that we're related to, because they've known us longer and we have the longest history. And sometimes we can regress back into those old unhealthy patterns when we're reaching for the past nostalgia and that romanticized childhood that we might have had during the holiday season. Yes, it comes with that beautiful nostalgia, but it also comes with the junk, right? It also comes with the arguments. It comes with the disagreements. It comes with people not getting along, and other meanings as well that are again deeply ingrained because we have the longest history. So break the cycle by enjoying the holidays and being present in the moment and enjoying the here and now, without having to really, without trying to manufacture something from the past, because that'll just put you into a regressive mindset, and you'll fall back into old, potentially unhealthy and unproductive patterns, right? The patterns that we've been working the rest of the year to get rid of, right? And then as you come out of the holiday season and into the new year, then really think about, instead of thinking about resolution, make growth and change a way of life, right? Make it a habit, make it a habitual daily thing, make it a daily practice, and integrate it with your daily life. And that goes with health, that goes with personal development and growth. If you integrate that into your day, into your daily life, then you're not going to have to rely on this one day out of the year to kick it off, right? Sure, it's going to be clunky, especially at the beginning, but as long as you dedicate enough time to the growth and to the work and to the consistency of being healthy and eating well and being physically active and taking care of your mental health and all that stuff, your personal development, then you're not going to have to rely on resolutions. I don't do resolutions for that very reason, because I don't need to. Right, the growth and the new goals I set for myself is continuous, as opposed to this year I'm going to make X, Y, and Z changes in my life. I don't like to do that. I like to just continually evolve and continually change without having to put a marker on it. That's really largely, again, it's just symbolic. It's just another day out of the year, and it's really another day out of one very specific calendar. Right, I think it's the Gregorian calendar. There's different calendars that have a different first of the year, right? A different cycle. So it doesn't have to have any meaning for you. The main thing about trying to make changes this year is carry it beyond thinking about just a resolution, right? Really make some life changes. And if you have big goals, we'll talk about this in the next episode. Getting out of whatever current situation you're in, really just kind of dissect where you want to go, or create a vision of where you want to go is really the first place to start, and really just make sure that you're emotionally connected to that outcome that you want to create, and you'll be able to get through. The challenges that you will ultimately face as you work to achieve those goals, right? All right, so that's where I want to go with this episode. Let's rewrite what the holiday season means, what the New Year season means, so that we can get through it every year healthier and healthier and better, and so that it's not draining us, right? It's not sucking the life out of us because we're trying to manufacture something that doesn't exist, both in the past and in the future, right? In the next episode, I'm going to talk about that gap. I'm going to talk more about creating a new vision and the gap between where you are now and that new outcome, that new vision that you're trying to create. But in the meantime, chew on what we talked about today. If you have any questions, of course, come join us in the Redefine community, facebook.com/group/redefine community, and we'll have further conversations. So until the next episode, you guys take care, be well, be safe. We'll see you in the next episode.